welcome back to Elevated Energetics. Today I'm going to be talking about the healing properties of color and how that kind of relates to crystal healing and all that fun stuff. But first, I just kind of wanted to show you this beautiful new house coat I got. It was actually for a birthday gift from my husband, and it came in super duper late, but I'm so excited that it came. It is so cool. So yeah, I just decided to wear it for the video because I'm all about being comfy, cozy, and this just gives me a great vibe. I love it. Nice witch hat right here, broom, mushrooms, there's crystals. Anyways, I just want to talk about it a little bit because I love it so much. So let's get into the video, shall we? So color has been scientifically proven to affect our mood and our emotions. And understanding how colors can influence us and how they influence crystal healing and crystal energy, you'll better be able to choose stones for healing the physical and subtle and emotional and mental bodies, etc. To use it in chakra healing to create balance and to create positive emotional shifts. So color therapy is also known as chromotherapy, which is an alternative healing method all on its own, not even relating to crystals. Where they use different colors of light to positively impact one's body and mind. So it's believed that the energy of the different colors can de-stress the mind and enhance mood, create balance and just emotional balance, and bring healing into the physical body. So we're strongly influenced by the colors around us. So like the color of the sky, the color of a room, the color of the artwork that you have in your room, things like that can really either positively or negatively influence you. So it's interesting to keep that in mind when you're decorating your home. So colors that we see and perceive objects to have is actually light being reflected off that object. So if you're seeing blue on the tapestry, it's because the blue light is being reflected off of the object, and that is how our eyes perceive that color to be. So each color found in the visible light spectrum has its own wavelength and frequency, which produces a unique energy, and our eyes perceive those energies as color. So the coloration of a crystal really results from how it interacts with this light spectrum, and it depends on the atomic structure of the mineral that you're talking about. So it's the same as this for one. There are two main types of mineral colors. There's idiochromatic and allochromatic. So the idiochromatic minerals are those such as copper or chromium, where the chemical composition directly affects their color. Then there's allochromatic minerals, on the other hand, and those are colored by small amounts of impurities, usually no more than a few atoms of some other element, that creates anomalies in the crystal lattice. So in opaque stones, the colors we see are those frequencies of light that are not absorbed into the crystal lattice. When a stone absorbs all the frequencies of light, it appears black, while white stones reflect the full color spectrum and absorb no light. So with a transparent crystal or translucent, such as clear quartz, light rays enter the crystal structure and are actually slowed, bent, or refracted from their path by an arrangement of atoms. And depending on how the stones modify the photons of light, the crystal will shift a full sunlight spectrum towards the slower frequencies, thus appearing red. So red are slower frequencies, and higher frequencies or faster frequencies usually come out as blue or violet, purples, which are a more cooler color. So in allochromatic stones, the minute anomalies in the crystal structure carry different energy charges that capture proton particles and form centers or coloration within the crystal. So when a crystal's color changes according to the angle, so labradorite's a good example of that, because the color changes, there we go, depending on the angle, right? And there's multiple colors in there as well. So yeah, that is known as pleochroism. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing these words right. So the internal structure and symmetry of the mineral break up and separate rays of light in different ways depending on where the light enters the crystal. Diffraction is where the light becomes polarized, shifting speed and frequency, and emerges from the crystal at different angles. So it's really interesting stuff. So Let's talk a little bit about the psychology of color, because there have been a couple studies done on this talking about how like just being in the presence of a color can actually impact us on a psychological level as well. So the human body is intimately keyed to color through its evolution, and color therapy is an important method of treatment. So color affects your personality, whether because of cultural conditioning or just your initial experience of that particular color. So we're influenced by the distinctive vibrations that each color possesses. Each color in the spectrum vibrates at its own rate, and these vibrations correspond with the body's inner vibration. So I'm attracted to a lot of teals and blues, which is a very calming color, and I guess I like to surround myself with that. Like, I have notebooks that are teal, my couches are teal upstairs. I also like the calming of the blue in this tapestry behind me. Yeah, and I think it's just something that my body resonates really well with, so I like to surround myself with those colors. So each part of the body resonates to a different color. If you're thinking chakras, for example, is a good example of that. When we are ill or troubled, we can use the appropriate color to help harmonize our vibration and restore equilibrium in our bodies. So there are psychological associations with each color, and colors can be linked with mood. So reds and oranges and yellows are warm and expansive, and they give a feeling of energy. So if you're talking about carnelian, carnelian is known as a very energizing stone. So as you can see, it's red. So, just it's very interesting once you start digging deeper into all this stuff. So, blues and indigos and purples are more calming. They're a cooler color, and they kind of quiet the temperature and induce relaxation. So I think that's why I like different blues and teals and things like that. Actually, there's a really cool example of how colors can actually like really significantly impact us as humans. There's an example of a color called drunk tank pink, and I'll put up a picture of what that looks like and just kind of show you. So this drunk tank pink has been shown to not only weaken muscles of those who are exposed to it for an extended period of time, but it also calms your mood. So this color was often placed in the away team's locker rooms during sports events, so that the home team would have advantage because their opponents would be weaker and calmer and not really in that competitive mode, and it would directly impact how they played. I think that became a rule that you're not allowed to do that anymore, actually. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. So this color was also placed in drunk tanks and in psychiatric hospitals, where they painted the facilities pinks to weaken and calm those who ended up there. So Alexander Schaus in the 70s actually observed, he started doing experiments on this color, and he exposed himself to the shade of pink. He noticed his heart rate would slow down, and so would his pulse and respiration. He tried this with other colors as well, and he found this pink had the most profound physiological effect on him. So it's very interesting. So later on in his studies, he managed to talk 2 naval officers into letting him paint their correctional prison cells this color, and the results were surprising. It was noted, quote, "Since the initiation of the procedure on the 1st of March 1979, there have been no incidences of erratic or hostile behavior during the initial phase of confinement." And they found that only 15 minutes of exposure to this drunk tank pink was enough to have a notable effect on the inmates. So that's really, really interesting. So let's move on and talk about more, energy healing perspective of this. So let's talk about the colors of the chakras. So red is for the root chakra, and it's like red is good for passion, vitality, motivation, protection, instincts, and physical healing. Red is the spirit of physical life. It is full of power. It's associated with the element of fire and drive. It's courage and liberation, but it is also fear and anger. So there's always negative aspects, right? So red can be intense and give you like a burning desire to get things done, but it's not logical. It kind of reacts without thinking or acts without thinking. So here's some indications of you maybe having a red energy imbalance. So cold or inactive or congested conditions, so head colds, things like that. Difficulty with physical movement, coordination, or circulation problems. If you have the inability to sustain energy levels and you have physical weakness and exhaustion, when you're emotionally and mentally unable to experience life as it is, so you're lacking drive, you're lacking enthusiasm, you're kind of lethargic, kind of probably like depressed, basically, and uncomfortable doing any physical activity, and also the feeling of being vulnerable and alienated, and not being able to keep your own personal boundaries, and you're easily drained by other people. So crystals that would be really good for that would be a red jasper. I think I have a little rough chunk here, which is a little interesting shape. So we got red jasper. Agate, there's snowflake obsidian, hematite, black onyx, black tourmaline, bloodstone, pyrite, and smoky quartz. I actually didn't grab one of my smoky quartz. So smoky quartz is one of my favorite grounding red-related crystals. And then we have orange for our sacral chakra, and carnelian is actually more orange than red. And this is more for your sacral than your root, so that was my mistake. But you could also use it as a grounding crystal too, because it does have that fiery energy. So orange is known for its emotional balance, creativity, sexuality, transformation, and inner work. So orange is self-reliance and practical knowledge. It's an assimilator, so it tests, it accepts or rejects things as they come to your awareness. So orange is optimistic, it's tolerant, benign, it's warm-hearted, it's friendship, the life and soul of the party. And orange can also break down barriers and eradicate. It has the ability to bring up the energy of a past event that needs to be assimilated. So its strength is very subtle, and it'll bring it up gently. It won't bring it up in a way that it's kind of like a huge trigger. It'll just slowly bring things to your awareness, so that, and it helps give you the courage to kind of face those things and kind of integrate them into your energy, so that you can become full and whole and a complete version of yourself. So orange is great for learning how to accept what is and then change it to something that is better, you know? So if you have an orange energy imbalance, you'll be physically rigid, you'll restrict your feelings and have a hard time sharing your emotions and feelings with others. You'll often suffer from different digestive issues. You won't be able to focus. You're going to have a lack of vitality, and you'll be kind of like either stuck in the past and holding on to memories, or just kind of not here in the present and not assimilating those past experiences that may have impacted you. So different stones that are good for this, like I said, is carnelian. Amber is also really good. Smoky quartz is another good one for this area, for the orange energy. Tiger's eye. All right, and I'm moving on to yellow for our solar plexus. So yellow is known for courage, inner strength, bravery, self-confidence, willpower, and mental clarity. Yellow is the mind, so it's precise and optimistic, and it's clear and in control through the intellect. So it unravels, it reveals, and it leaves no stone unturned. So it's very logical, knows how to focus attention, loves new ideas, and is very flexible and adaptable. So it decides quickly and acts immediately. So it's a great communicator and has no shortage of words. So yellow can unify and connect. It's really great for networking, financial ambition, and well-being. People who have like a yellow aura or a yellow, like yellow characteristics in their energy are often, like people love to be around them because they're just radiating this kind of sunshine kind of energy. It's really neat. Yeah, because yellow can also have, be very sharp-tongued, so you know, you don't want to get on their bad side, but if you're on their good side, they're like the most warm and welcoming people. So yeah, it's also associated with self-esteem and confidence. So if you have an energy balance in relating to yellow qualities, you're going to have stress-related ailments such as indigestion, insomnia, panic attacks, headaches, and muscle tension. You might also suffer from different skin issues like eczema and psoriasis. nervous disorders, allergic reactions to food, arthritis, tension, and just being worried and confused. So yellow jasper citrine is really good. There's golden quartz and honey calcite that are really good for working with that yellow energy. And then we have our heart, which is green. So the heart is all about love and compassion, emotional healing, growth, prosperity, abundance, and physical health. And it's kind of the bridge in the gateway of the color spectrum, but it's also the bridge within our chakras between our root and our crown chakra. It's the one right in the center. So green is idealistic, it's socially aware, it's very helpful and selfless. It is dependable and diplomatic. So green is good for clarity and understanding, and helps us to do our best that we can. And it's really good at helping you to find your niche. So find your path, find your people, your, you know what I mean, your soul family, whatever it is you want to call it. So green is very prosperous. Like think of springtime when all the trees start blooming green leaves. You know, it's very prosperous and an abundant time when everything's growing. And it's also really related to growth and expansion in business as well. So green is basically the good life. So, and it's basically the love for collecting possessions, which is kind of funny because, you know, greed is also, you know, kind of associated with envy. So, you know, the term, he's green with envy or whatever. So it can go both ways, but a healthy version of that green energy will be very, very not selfish or envious. So if you have a green color imbalance, you're going to have invasive illnesses, things like abnormal growth, a lack of control at any level. So this one is a very important one to keep your body in a very healthier state so this doesn't happen. So you might be claustrophobic, you feel trapped and stuck and unfulfilled in life, or dominated, like you're not in control, someone else is in control. You either need to be in control or need to be controlled. There's no happy medium, there's no give and take. It's like one extreme or the other. You'll have a lack of self-discipline, and you'll be confused and not really have a direction that you're headed in your life. You're just kind of, you know, not really striving for anything. You're just kind of stuck. And often people who are suffering from all of these things also suffer from isolation. So you want to bring in some green crystals like green aventurine, or heart chakra crystals such as rose quartz. There's green fluorite. There's a bunch of different green crystals that you could bring in. Emerald, fuchsite, jade, and I really, really like green moonstone, also known as garnierite. It is just like a nice pale minty green, and I find it such a calming, relaxing color, and I like to just place it on my heart often just to kind of, you know, bring that green energy, those green qualities back into balance as often as I can. So moving on, then we have the throat. So the spirit of truth and higher order of intelligence. So the head and heart speak directly through the throat, or the throat chakra. So blue brings rest, it calms and it cools and it slows down and it slows growth, but not in a bad way. Like it's just not growing too fast. It just kind of takes its time. Because blue is tranquil. It's the color of contemplation. It's thinking and discriminating. You know, that quote, still waters run deep, right? So it's nice, slow, peaceful energy. So blue is peace with a purpose, and it values integrity, honor, and sincerity. So if you have a blue energy imbalance, you're going to have throat problems like laryngitis or sore throat, tonsil problems. You're probably going to feel really blocked to your creativity, to any inspiration. You're going to have a difficult time communicating, and you're going to be very easily agitated. So crystals that are really good are blue apatite. I actually have two different pieces here. One is this little sphere, and one is just a nice rough little chunk. And it's just a very pretty crystal. It actually has like the shimmer, this gleam in there. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, blue apatite is really good. There's blue lace agate, there's blue kyanite, and there's also lapis lazuli. And then we have indigo for our third eye. So indigo is ambition and awareness. It brings intuition and clarity, and it's associated with clairvoyance and being able to discern the truth. So this color is very intertwined with the throat chakra. So creating a bridge between your throat and third eye will help you kind of bring out those intuitive messages that you're receiving and being able to communicate them outwards. So yeah. So indigo brings inner peace by allowing clear sight and a deeper understanding of the energies surrounding us and within us. So if you have an imbalance in this area, you're going to have a hard time connecting intuitively to the world. You're not going to be able to trust those messages and those signs, those intuitive nudges that you're getting, or you're not going to be able to see them at all because your awareness will be clouded. You're going to have mental health problems, suffer from different things like anxiety, depression, delusions, things like that, and also suffer from a lot of fear and anxiety. So great stones for that are going to be labradorite, which I already showed you here. Labradorite is one of my favorites for sure. Labradorite and smoky quartz. Like if I could only take 2 crystals on an island, it would be those 2, I think. So yeah, that's really good for your third eye. You can place it on your third eye. And also, what's the other one? Amethyst, which I've already showed you. You probably want a smaller piece to place on your third eye, but just having amethyst around. I have mine in my room. This is just so twinkly. I had to show it off. So really good for your third eye as well. And moving on to our crown. So purple is the royal ray. It's the ruler. It's the spiritual messenger. It's also the protector of the spirit. It strives for enlightened perfection. So it's the highest level of thought, seeing and hearing without using the physical senses. Purple uses its psychic perception on an everyday basis, and it comes to understand the price you must pay for its royal attributes as sacrifice. Humility is also a key aspect, and purple can sacrifice itself for the benefit of all without being a victim or a martyr. So it's a higher dimension. It's a higher experience, connecting to that purple energy through the crown. Yeah, it's the connection to the collective, to all, to God, to the universe, whatever you want to call it. So if you have any imbalances within that purple energy, you're going to have an exaggerated need to sacrifice for others, which is a result of either feeling guilty or having poor self-worth and not setting boundaries. You're going to tend to live in a world of illusions, and you're going to like to really escape into fantasy and daydreaming and not really being present and grounded in the physical reality in the now. You know, you're going to be kind of off somewhere else. You're going to suffer from delusional states and reinterpretation of reality based on personal fantasism. So you're just going to have issues discerning what is real and what is not, what it was just created in your mind. You're also going to suffer from headaches and ear and eye problems. You're going to have really deep glandular imbalances, and you're going to have an extreme lack of mental and spiritual focus. So you're not going to be able to focus that energy. You're not going to be able to concentrate, and you're going to not be able to understand really what's going on around you in life or have the ability to change and grow. So like I said, for the third eye, amethyst and labradorite are also really great for the crown chakra. And then you can also use fluorite and lepidolite, which I have a little sphere here, which is kind of twinkly and sparkly. You can kind of see a little bit. Well, that's all I'm going to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.